स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्. I heard this verse in Sanskrit, an ancient Indian language, on a gloomy November morning in city of New Delhi in India. It has suddenly got cold overnight. As I stand amid noise of traffic on the road nearby, I'm staring at a large simmering fire with no expressions, holding my brother's hand firmly. Being wrapped in a thin white cloth in the cold day, my father brushes fingers through my hair, my messy gray hair at that point. We're still gray here. uh, and I lean in the warmth of his shoulder. As I squeeze my moist eyes to see the fire clearly through rising smoke, an old man rushes towards me, pats on my back, and says, "Hold this and look here." He points to the fire and hands me a wooden spear. I said, "Weird. Can you see this? Strike it here with force." I instantly stop breathing and miss countless heartbeats in that moment of terror. Surrounded by hundreds of people waiting for my response, little do anyone knows what this old man is pointing at. Or everyone does. With a deep gulp, I take a close look at the crater in the firewood the old man was pointing at. Sandwiched between heavy logs of wood at the base and sandalwood on the top in the fire lies my mother. 3 nights ago, she was walking with me, hanging onto my arm in the porch, when she said in moist eyes and heavy voice, "I don't want to leave you all. Please save me. And I know you can save me. I don't want to go." And I laughed. "You're too heavy for anyone to take away." She had lost a lot of weight recently. That night, we walked for hours in circles and talked about the times she taught me how to use a spoon, the times I made tea for her, the times I ran away from home, the times she kept the last bowl of carrot pudding she worked on for hours and didn't even taste once, so I could have it more. The times when I wouldn't carry my phone and I would always be late for dinner and she would happily wait. And today, I have a wooden spear in my hand, about a foot taller than me. And I'm searching for a familiar eye in the crowd who could tell me, "Drop it. This is not real." But today, I seem to have no luck. The old man, the priest, is telling me to rip her skull with that spear. While my knees are knocking in cold and my hand holding the spear is shivering, I look down laughing and ask myself, did I kill her? I close my eyes and I can see teenage me arguing with her in anger, screaming in rage how I would kill her, saying, "You're half dead. You barely survived a surgery. I'll kill you and no one would even know. Either you are going to live in this house or I would." I had a tough relation with her, a very tough relation. I was kind of a living garbage truck, and in her unconditional love, I kind of find a dumping yard for myself. I was short, weak, not so strong as my friends, and that combined with my extended family, they never failed to make me believe how weak and useless I was. Despite living in city big as New Delhi and living with 20 more people under the same roof, Nearly all of my childhood, I craved for support, and all the garbage inputs in terms of self doubt, humiliation, body shaming would convert and transform into anger, self denial, brain fade, and I will throw all this at the same time at her, and she would happily take it. She's a mother. I had no one who would listen to when I was bullied at school and faked illness so that I could stay home instead. I did speak with my cousins, but they laughed. And with time, I realized this is something I had to deal with on my own, something that was never taught in school. I remember the time, and I didn't even know when my father's friend in his workplace removed my pants when I was 13 was a sexual abuse. All I remember is that that incident pushed me several steps back in shame and apprehension that I could never be myself again. With time, as years passed, I kept building shells around me. So these shells kept getting thicker, and the self doubt kept getting stronger. I was constantly living in a fear of being rejected, fear of being shamed and bullied again. I could never ask someone out for a coffee, and I still can't. The fears still a bit reside in me, despite more than 15 years. Following all this chaos, my mother's illness took away the last exile that I had for myself. I didn't even visit her once when she was hospitalized for 2 months. And 3 nights ago, she recited the horrifying tale of days she spent in ICU awake 24 hours, waiting for me, and I would never show up. And soon, staying awake, she began to see a black robed man standing near the door who followed her everywhere till last night when she left my room to relieve herself in the restroom but never returned. Throughout last night, I was trying to wake her up, even when doctor said she was. Even now, when I'm holding this spear, I'm shouting at her, wake up! Wake up once. I promise I will never push you back if you want to sleep in my lap. She gave me birth. She nourished me all her life with love and compassion. And I never said how much I loved her, how I wanted to hug her once. I open my eyes, look up back in the fire, shuffle the spear in my hand, pull all its length back, and strike and rip open her skull to allow the soul a safe passage to go to abodes of the gods, where she could rest for the rest of the time, free from suffering, free from my pain. Embers erupt in air with smoke as I strike, and I collapse on ground in silence. And how powerful this one moment of silence is. How resilient is the thought of awakening of conscience. To want to see clearly is the true act of fearlessness. To be open hearted, to be open minded, to be open to what life is offering to you at this moment. It requires tremendous courage. And in that openness, I heard the messages I ignored. I found the information I overlooked. I saw the people I made invisible in time. My openness helped me connect with the emotions like love, compassion, grief, sorrow for the first time. Fear does a very good job from keeping you away from the present. But in the present moment, fear is not to be found. What fear does to you, it keeps filling your thoughts with what might happen in future, what seemed to have happened in the past. But again, in the present moment, there is no fear. As I stand today in Burdock Music Hall, I'm free from fear. I'm fearless. And I'm present in this present moment. I'm awake. And I can see you. Can you see what I see? Thank you.